Hello everyone, Zippy here, and yes, X marks the spot, welcome back to my channel. If it isn't obvious from the title alone, today I'm going to be tiering the characters from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Around a few weeks ago, I just saw this movie, and all I gotta say is, it just says pure peak. Animation, fantastic. The characters, so funny and entertaining to watch. And also the story is just so beautiful that I just had to watch the movie the second time. Honestly, if this was like one of my review videos, I instantly give it a 10 out of 10. Yes, it is that good. But we have to remember, this is a tier making video, not a review video. I will consider making a review about this movie as soon as the Avatar video is finished. I don't want to make this video any longer than it is, so let's get straight down to it. Obviously, spoilers if you haven't watched the movie yet. If you don't want to get spoiled, make sure to watch it before watching this video, so let's get straight down to it. Starting off the list, we obviously have to start with the main character himself, Puss in Boots. I really do like Puss's growth throughout this entire movie, where he has to learn mortality since he is down to his last life. Although he was arrogant, wanting to keep the legend alive, and even slightly betraying like his only friends that he's made like throughout this entire journey, he's still a good person in the inside and even regrets some of the actions he's done. The only problem is that because of his arrogancy of wanting his legend to be known throughout the land as the legend, he couldn't make room for any of his friends. So it was towards the end of the movie that Puss finally realizes that no matter how many lives you have, or how many great things you've done, all those doesn't matter if you don't live life with the people around you. Apologies if I made this unnecessarily long monologue throughout this entire video. I just can't help it but to express like how good of a character this is. So with that being said, I'll just immediately put him to S tier. Now I'm sure if you guys have watched like the previous like Puss in Boots movie, then you already know who this is, but for those who don't know and only seen the second one, Kitty Softpaws is basically like the love interest of Puss in Boots. So despite her being a love interest to the main character, she's a pretty good character of her own, she's badass and at times really whimsical. So I think I'll also put her in S tier. Up next, we have the comic relief of the trio, Burrito, and I already put him in S tier. I am really sorry if it seemed like I'm meat writing this entire movie, but I just can't help it. Like, the characters are just that good. Though he is the comic relief of the trio, luckily he doesn't be like they don't overuse him like for jokes and all. He does have like deeper moments, especially with Puss in Boots, as he is indirectly becoming his therapy dog. Despite him being clueless that he had a really rough childhood, he always tries to find the positive things in his life. Next up on the list, we have Death. Next up is one of the three antagonists of the movie, Death. So yeah, I'm just gonna... yeah. I mean, come on, it's Death. Like, he's immediately S tier. There's no contest. None at all. Well, that, and also a certain... someone. Next, we have Goldilocks from the Three Bears. Goldie is a pretty good character, and to be honest, I don't exactly see her as much of an antagonist that much. I mean, sure, she does like a fight with Puss in Boots and the others, but in some way, I guess you could say like she's like another protagonist, you know what I'm saying? I just love how Goldie and the Bears interact with each other because it really does seem like an actual normal family that you see on an everyday basis. I wouldn't say that Goldie's character arc is on the level of Puss in Boots, but it is still up there, so I would at least have to put her in A tier. Speaking of which, we have Mama Bear. Mama Bear to me is as much as a mother as she is. On one hand, she is kind and gentle, but on the other, she is ferocious and violent when it comes to protecting your children, and she will go to any length to make sure that their happiness is ensured. But at the end of the day, I guess you could say that she is sort of like Goldie's minion in some way, but I don't know. I think I'll just put her in A tier. And oh boy, do we have a good one. We have the menace himself and the one who enjoys being evil, Jack Horner. Finally, after so many of these villains just being a sympathetic or misunderstood hero in some way in these movies, we finally have like an actual pure evil, cold-hearted villain. Not saying that misunderstood villains are bad, not at all. I do think that when it comes to the ideologies counteracting to the hero's ideology, it does make up some good story. However, I feel like that trope is way overused in like a lot of movies/shows. That's why me, along with everyone who watched the movie, just love Jack Horner, because he's not a sympathetic villain. He doesn't have some tragic backstory to make him evil. No, he's just evil because he just enjoys being evil, and that's so refreshing. So I just gotta put him alongside Death. Next we have Papa Bear. Out of all the designs in the bear family, I think I like Papa Bear's the best. It's not too overly designed, and it's pretty simple and basic, but it just fits so well, and I find him a badass in this movie. So if I had to put him somewhere, I think I'll put him in A tier. I think he's on like the same length as Mama Bear. Baby Bear, on the other hand, not so much. I know he's like the comic relief of the family, but like they did him so dirty in this movie. How's this man a full-grown bear, and yet he gets his ass handed to him both physically and emotionally by a woman who is at least around like her mid-20s? Of course, not saying he's a bad character. I mean, even he knows like his limits of taking L's, so I think I'll scale him around B. Next up, we have Jiminy Cricket. I find Jiminy Cricket's interactions with Jack Horner hilarious, where Jiminy Cricket is trying to find at least like one redeeming quality within Jack Horner, hoping to give him like some redeeming character arc, only to just realize that the Jack Horner coincidentally killed his own men, that he realizes that he is an irredeemable monster. Just for Jack to giving him this face and basically saying, yeah, obviously, I'd do it again if I had the option to. Honestly though, I would have thought this man was already a monster just by seeing him shooting at his own men without feeling any kind of remorse. So just because of how ignorant Jiminy Cricket is, I'll put him on the same side as Baby Bear. Not sure why the Snake Sisters are on this list. I mean, they're just grunts working for Jack Horner with no personality. Hell, even the woman with the green hair has more personality than them. So with that being said, I think I'll just put them in like around D tier. Next we have Mama Luna, and I think she did alright in her small role in the movie. And I have to give credit to the person who voice acted her, because I would be lying if I didn't have a couple laughs. But again, she is a side character, and she's not at all important to the story, but I will definitely put her above the Snake Sisters. Up next, we have the Village Doctor. Though he's a side character, I do find him more entertaining than the others, simply because of how quirky he is. So I'll put him in B tier. And for some odd reason, the Phoenix is next on the list, but then again, there aren't exactly that many characters that we can just list in this movie, so it seems fair enough. That poor Phoenix though, he's been reduced to the symbol of reincarnation to nothing more than Jack Horner's flamethrower. Next up we have this guy, which I have no idea what's his name, but I think he's called the Colonel or something like that. I doubt anybody cares about this guy, so I'm just gonna put him in D tier. And finally, we have the giant monster in the opening movie. Like I said with the others, there's really not much to say about this guy. I mean, he's just a monster for Puss to fight in the opening act. But his fight scene was pretty sick, as well as his character design, so I think I gotta go with B tier, you know, just in case. So there it is. This is my entire tier list of all the Puss in Boots characters and what I scaled them to. And like I said before, if you guys don't want to get spoiled, make sure you watch the movie before watching this video, because I will tell you this, you will not regret seeing that movie. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram as well as my TikTok, and the link to those accounts are in the description down below, and I'll see you next time.